Everybody, it's Tyler here at Sundo in the PNW, checking in team number 7461 Sushi Squad, one of our premier 08 teams. Hopefully you've seen tons about this robot. Now we have it here in person as well too, and I can't wait to talk more about this team. 7461 has really started to come out as a fantastic team last year. 2 finalist appearances. Can't wait to talk more about this robot coming up here on Behind the Bumper. This video on First Updates Now is made possible by viewers like you and also the following sponsors. If your team is using SolidWorks, make sure you log into the 3D Experience platform to gain access to tutorials, collaborate with other users, and download the Charge Up Field and Kit Up parts. Go to solidworks.com/first and click on Log into 3D Experience platform to gain access. FRC competition season is here. Submit your favorite moments to FRC Clips of the Week by each Sunday at discord.gg/firstupdatesnow. Also, the FRC Top 25 poll is open Sunday 5 p.m. Eastern to Monday 5 p.m. Eastern, where you can vote for your top 25 teams of the week at firstupdatesnow.com/FRC Top 25. Dave, let's start out with some of the awesome mechanical features of this robot. Talk to me about some of the architecture, what's gone into it, and some lessons learned so far.
So we ran with just a high pivot arm inspired by 330, the Beach Bots. We're running a over-the-bumper intake for cubes that runs a pass-through into our arm. If we want to lift it up real quick. And then that does a pneumatic extension to go out. What this allows us to do is basically keep everything in just one nice continuous motion and keeps the programming pretty simple. So let's intake a cube. So starting off, we have our over-the-bumper intake. This is inspired a lot by the rapid react intakes, actually. And you can see the Omni wheels that are inspired by Citrus Circuits in 2022. That then passes on to our claw, which then the manipulator wheels just spin and suck in the cube, and then we can just lift it up and score it. And yeah, for cones, what we do is we found that it wasn't too necessary to actually pick up cones from the ground, so we primarily just pick up from the double substation. So if we want to quickly feed cone into the robot, yeah, and then it just kind of slows down.
When you were looking at from this game design, your robot, you mentioned, took a lot of inspiration from like 2019, that sort of thing. Your robot reminds me a lot of robots that we've seen from back then. Some other teams we've seen this year maybe are a little more compact or like don't have as many handoffs, that sort of thing. Why was this the best route for Sushi Squad to go?
So we originally went with our Alpha robot, and with our Alpha robot, we just ran a very simple, we wanted to build the robot as fast as possible. And that led to us finishing our robot at day 12. But that meant driving a lot of our design architecture on what can we program the easiest and what can we build the fastest. And because of that, we decided to settle, even though we had some elevator kits, we decided to settle on a 1 degree of freedom arm, which meant just having an arm that goes up and down, which drove our original Alpha design. So once we had our Alpha finished, we decided to keep the beta design similar to the Alpha because we wanted to keep the programming similar on both the robots and kind of make sure that our driver kind of has the same feel for it. And since the Alpha geometry worked, we just decided to keep up with it. So the middle pivot stayed the same, and the only main difference is we ended up adding a pneumatic extension, which allows us to score the high nodes while keeping everything else the same. We originally wanted to have a single substation feeder, so basically we wanted to feed cones through here, but the geometry didn't seem to work, but we had it on anyway because we needed the wheels to fix the dead zoning issue on our intake. What this also led us to do is, so what we discovered was cycling hybrid tended to be actually pretty valuable after cycling high. So we put some effort into having an outtake mechanism for our cubes, as well as having a way to quickly get rid of cubes. And the main way we do this is by having an outtake mechanism as well as a cube shooter mechanism, which allows us to shoot in the community and touch the edge if we need to deliver cubes quickly. So if we want to test this real quick. So that's our outtake. And then yeah.
How far away are you able to like kind of shoot those cubes from, so to speak?
We have shot. We have shot it from like the edge of the charge station and get it into the community, but it's not the most consistent. The main idea is we just want to get the pieces into the community.
Makes sense in there. Hitesh, I noticed that there's a lot of pneumatics on your robot as well too. So talk to me about what's gone into it from that sort of systems. Any feature plans? Anything cool from electrical as well in your bot?
Yeah, so we decided to go with pneumatics for this robot, for the intake and then for the extension. The goal was to basically simplify we had a lot of issues with telescopes last year and with rope run telescopes, and we decided to just stick with pneumatics this time to basically try to simplify as much of the robot as we could. What we kind of figured out so far is the pneumatics actually adds a lot of complexity to our robot, and it adds a lot of new systems. It's a whole nother system, and so if we were to redo this, we'd probably end up just taking the time to figure out belt run telescope and then some sort of motor actuated pneumatic intake. Pneumatics wise though, when we actually initially built it, the arm was really slow, and that caused a lot of issues for our autonomous and for our teleop. And what we ended up doing was one of our members figured out if you have if you have your tanks on two different pressures, we have two of our tanks on 120 and then two of our tanks on 60. That makes sure that the 120 acts as a buffer, and it makes sure that the 60 psi tanks are always full, allowing us to maximize the flow rate and the air volume, which actually sped up our extension fast enough that we're able to hit our autos and hit two pieces in our autos, two L3 pieces, and get balanced by the end of the time. And then for electrical systems, we've had a lot of issues with poor wiring in the past. So we spent a lot of time this time catting out and figuring out the routing for all the electrical, and it's turned out really nice. And we thought about the accessibility. So this ramp right here, you can actually take off 4 bolts and lift the whole thing up, so you have full access to the pneumatics panel. So there's a lot of those kind of decisions being made throughout the robot that help our electrical members kind of wire it up really quickly.
So let's wrap up on this robot talking about some of the cool automation and programming features that are on this bot. What's gone into it? What have you learned so far, and anything for the future too?
All right, so I think we have definitely learned a lot from this bot. I think going into the season, we've never made an arm before. So the arm was a great learning experience. I think some of the things we did to make the arm move smoothly. One thing, we have a value that we call kg that compensates for the gravity. And the way it does this is by multiplying a constant by the cosine of the angle. And then based on that, it ends up outputting a value that helps the arm compensate for gravity. On top of that, we also use PID control for the arm. That's not too complex. Now I want to move on to talking about our autonomous code. So I think one thing that's pretty cool with that, this is the first year that we had access to April tags. And I think we've really used that in autonomous to make our code as consistent as possible. So what we do is, in addition to using the odometry information coming from the motor encoders, we also use odometry information that we get from the vision system, from our Limelight. And then we combine those two things together. WPILib actually has a class for this. And then we have it tuned such that we can use both the values from vision and the values coming in from the encoders to have a really accurate estimate of our position. And we can use this when we're going over the berm in autonomous, because that kind of messes with the encoders on the motors, but the vision still stays the same. And by using both those systems, we can have really accurate auto code.
Looking at the future, are there any additional autonomous modes we might see out of Sushi Squad, maybe come DCMP or anything like that?
So I think as far as adding on to our autonomous code, we still have to get the 3-piece working consistently. Right now it's slightly too slow. In addition, we also want to make our auto balance faster. Right now the system we use for balancing in autonomous is we just go forward until the angle changes, and when we sense that angle change, we stop moving. What we want to do is use some based auto balance where we just go to the center of the charging station.
Well, Sushi Squad, thank you so much for taking time to tell us more about your robot here at Sundome. Good luck here. You're looking great so far, and we can't wait to see your performance here and, of course, in the future as well. Thanks a lot. This video on First Updates Now is made possible by viewers like you and also the following sponsors. If your team is using SolidWorks, make sure you log into the 3D Experience platform to gain access to tutorials, collaborate with other users, and download the ChargeUp field and kit up parts. Go to solidworks.com/first and click on Log into 3D Experience platform to gain access. The Charged Up competition season is here. We have a ton of live Twitch and YouTube content coming to you. All of our uploads and archives, including shows, behind the bumpers, Finalysis, and more, are available at youtube.com/firstupdatesnow. Check out all of our live shows on Mondays and Tuesdays at twitch.tv/firstupdatesnow. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay up to date on our new videos. Keep the conversation going and provide your input to our content. Watch our live shows at twitch.tv/firstupdatesnow. Join our Discord at discord.gg/firstupdatesnow and check out Fun FTC on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and First Updates Now on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter.